Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today what we're going to do and what this video is going to be about is compositing. So you may be asking yourself, what is compositing? Compositing is pretty much when you want to add, say for example, gunshots or explosions, and you want to color grade something on a shot or a scene. Maybe you want to add fire as well or anything like that. Compositing is pretty much what takes care of that and adds that into the scene. So what I'm going to be showing you today in this video is a scene that I was given for one of the films that are coming out. It is called The Shell. What I'm going to show you guys in this scene is how to add that muzzle flash or gunshot effect into the scene and make it look like it's actually real. Without any further ado, let's get into this video because that's exactly why you guys are here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so what we have here is a finished product of what we're trying to get. So what we're trying to do, or what we're trying to get, is to make this muzzle flash and the gunshot look like it's actually working and make it look this way as well. So what I'm going to do is show you guys how I got this effect in there and the muzzle flash. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is start off fresh. So let's go ahead and start a new project. When you start a new project or when you open up After Effects, this is normally how it would look like. You can go ahead and without even pressing new composition, you can go into your folder by double clicking on the free space right here under where it says project. Make sure you are on project as well, so you can just, let me go ahead and repeat that, double click, and now you are into your documents. Make sure that you have a folder and you keep it nice and organized in your folder as well. So let's go ahead and go grab that video that we want to work on real quick. So once you find that video, you can either double click or you can click it and then press import, and that's gonna go ahead and import into your project. So when you want to bring this into your scene, you're gonna go ahead and bring it down here. Once you bring it down right there, you can just left click, drag down, bring it down to your scene. So now you're able to see your scene here. You can go ahead and drag or drag back. When you bring that down here, it's going to make a composition. This is a composition right here. This is the raw file or the raw video itself. But bringing it down right here is just going to create this composition. Usually what I like doing is making a folder and making a already comp folder, and once you make that comp folder, you can bring this into here and you can bring the pre-comp, let's go ahead and put that there, into here. So this is just something that you can keep so that it can be nice and organized in your project. So let's go ahead, and if you want to play the scene, you can either press 0 on the number pad, and it's, as you can see, it can take a while, but that's because you have it on full. So what this is here is when you have it on full, that's full quality of the video, how it's going to look like. If you put it on quarter, then that's going to bring down the quality and it runs faster when you press play. This video is 4K, but since it's only like 2 seconds or not even like a second, it's going to run in full without a problem or anything. So first, what we want to do, we have our video in here. We're going to go ahead and make a new folder as well. You can follow me or you can just look at this video. I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible. We're going to make this quick and easy so that you guys can see how it works. We're going to add the elements folder right here, and that's where we're going to put our elements like muzzle flashes and say fire and all those stock elements that we have. So let's go ahead and bring an element right now, double click on that space again, go ahead and go back to your documents and grab your where you have your elements stashed. So the element that I want is a muzzle flash straight 3, so it's this one right here. If you want to see how it looks like before you actually bring it in, you can just go ahead and open with anything that you have. I usually open on QuickTime Player because these stock elements are usually 4K, and QuickTime does pretty well on opening those type of videos. We're going to import muzzle flash. Now, once you bring that down here, make sure it goes on the top of your video, because if it goes on the bottom, then that video is going to cover your stock element. So make sure it's on top of the video. It's kind of like Photoshop. These are where your layers are, and whatever layers on top of whatever, it's going to be on top of each other like that. Now we have our muzzle flash, and we can go ahead and bring this stock element into your elements folder so you can keep it organized. Again, keeping it organized is always a great thing to do when you're working on things like this. So keeping it organized is really good for you, because say for example you give this file to somebody that's working with you that's going to add something else, they're going to know where everything is, and it's going to be organized, and there's not going to be an issue where the person's calling you or messaging you asking you where the things are, and it's pretty much difficult to find everything. So now we have our muzzle flash. We're going to go ahead and find out where it fits well. So right here, it's where it fits perfectly, because here is where the actor is moving the gun up, as in he's shooting right now. And if you keep on going, you can see that he actually acts like he's shooting the gun. So we're gonna go ahead and bring the muzzle flash right here. This is perfect. We're gonna bring that right here. And if you notice, if you bring that right here, it covers the gun. Normally what I do is I'll just slide this down so that I can add that right in the middle right there. If you want to zoom into your shot, the roll on your mouse works as well. You can also, the middle mouse, you can press it down so you can move your scene like this. You can zoom in again some more. If you want to zoom out, you can just zoom out by rolling back on your middle mouse as well. If you want to fit the whole thing again, you can just go ahead and press fit right there. Now I want to be zoomed in a little bit because I want to make sure that it's going to fit perfectly right there. So that seems pretty well. And what we're going to do now is pretty much do that same kind of effect to every time he does that movement. Here's another movement as well. He's acting like he's shooting the gun right here. We're gonna go ahead and put that as well. So you don't have to keep on dragging this element down. You can just Control D while having this selected right here. So now it just made a duplicate of the muzzle, and we can bring that same muzzle flash here as well. I'll put that there. Boom. It's looking good. That's another movement right there. Right there. I'm gonna put, let's see, let's go ahead and Control D again. Actually don't like where that is. We're gonna bring that here. I'm gonna make sure we put that right in the middle right there again. Actually, it was better where it was already. Sorry. You tend to debate with yourself a lot when it comes down to your own craft. This is where we were at. That fits perfectly right there. Boom! And let's see if we can catch his other movement. Boom, right there. So there is another shot. Control D. Go ahead and bring that in again. Right there. Perfect. And Right now, all we're doing is pretty much trying to find where actor is acting like he's shooting the gun, like here. Again, Control D. Make sure that fits perfect. Also, you can always press T while selecting this, and that brings up the opacity. And you can bring down the opacity so that you can see if it's actually fixed, like if it's actually working well with the gun. So let's go ahead and just put that back to 100. When you press 100, you can just press enter and it'll put the number that you want in there. Okay, now let's go ahead and close the opacity again. You can either close it by pressing T again, or you can just close it with this little down arrow right there. You click it, left click, and it'll close. Now we're gonna go back into the scene again, see where he shoots. Perfect. Control D. Put that there. Perfect. And now he goes away. Perfect. So now what we got is this. It's going to take a while. Looking good. This is only the beginning though. Alright. So far our shot is looking good. Muzzle flashes are working well, working like they're supposed to. Now normally you have to keep in mind when working with fire, guns, or anything like that, it's always best to go into movies or go into YouTube and look up some reference, or look up some like real gun shooting. Those are the best references that you can get. When you shoot a gun in real life, it flashes. Right now we don't have that, so there's no flashing in your scene. All we have is a muzzle flash. I found an easy way to do that is you can right click on empty space here again, go to new, and if you go ahead and right click on the space, go to new, go to solid. Now on solid, you can always press this button right here, bring it over here to find, say, like a good color for the shot right here, the flash that you want. I think this color works best for me right now, so just go ahead and left click on that. Now that grabs the color right here. You can press OK, and that's going to make this right here. Don't worry, it's not an issue or anything. You can go here and hold down the left click. Go to the right, still holding down the left click, and you can press the ellipse tool. When you have the ellipse tool, you're going to go to the screen right here on the composition. You're gonna left hold you're gonna left click and hold, and you're going to make the size that you want. This works good for me. Now before you do anything else, if you don't take off the ellipse tool, you're gonna end up running into making another ellipse tool. I'm going to go ahead and Control Z so that can go away. But before moving on, you gotta go back to your selection tool. Now I highly suggest that you get used to hotkeys. Hotkeys are your little shortcuts that are going to go ahead and select these tools or anything that you need. And your hotkeys are pretty much what it says right there. Selection tool V. So that's your hotkey for selection tool. Now you're going to go ahead and left click. This usually works well when you bring it down right here. And now since you've left clicked on your mask, that's going to go ahead and open your mask. If this doesn't open and all you have is this, you can just go ahead and click the M button or the M key, and then make sure you go down here. It's going to open just like this. Make sure you close this again, and then you click again so that you can open these options right here. Once you open these options, you can go ahead and left click, feather this as much as you can. Feather it as much as your scene needs it. Make sure it's not too bright in your scene also if you're shooting in daylight. So this right now is definitely too bright, but this is going to work right now. So if you bring this down here, make sure that in your scene you don't have pretty much this rectangle going on. So what you can do is make sure you clicked on here again, make sure that's clicked, press S, and that's going to go ahead and scale your mask. You can left click and drag to the right so that it can make your mask bigger. Now that we have the mask bigger, you can press T and bring down your opacity so that your scene isn't that bright. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it down to maybe 25. You don't see much of the difference right now, but it's definitely a big difference. Now here you see this red bar, that's how long your mask is gonna go. Make sure you bring down your mask to only make it flash one time. Now this is just one frame right here. As you can see, the flash is working well. I think 25 might be even a little too much, so that you can make sure that it fits well. We can do this right here. So this is the scene without the flash. It's very subtle, but since there's sun and the scene is a pretty bright scene, the flashes on guns you won't really be able to tell, since there's a lot of sun and there's a lot of exposure in the scene. So now 25 is working well for me right now. I like that. Make sure you bring this down to your first muzzle flash here. If you don't want to see your muzzle flash, this eyeball right here to the left side, you left click on that and it takes off your muzzle flash. If you left click on it again, it's going to show up again. Now this is working well right here. Easy thing to do to bring that into everything else, you're going to Control D again. These are just little shortcuts that you can do, or you find out eventually when you work on a lot of stuff like that. So you're just going to go ahead, left click and drag to the right so you can bring that into your scene again. That's working nice. I'm going to go ahead and Control D again, bring that up here, Control D again, Control D, and one more Control D for that top one right there. In total we have 6 muzzle flashes going on. Now here's the easy stuff. You can just left click, drag that into everything that it needs to go to. I accidentally double clicked the left. How you can get rid of that is by going up here and pressing the close button. Now you're back again. You can go ahead and left click again. Same process for all of them. And this is what we got right now. As you can see, it's working really well. You might think we're done. You have to make sure you're aware of your surroundings, because you can miss this. Now, there's a reflection here of the gun. This is actually the real gun with no muzzle flash here. You need to make sure that you don't miss anything like that. So now we're going to go ahead and Control D again to make the reflection right here and make it easy. We're going to Control D again, and we're going to press enter and name it reflection. So now this is the reflection of that. We're going to make sure it fits nice here. I'm going to put that there right on the tip of the gun. Now to make it look like a reflection, we're going to bring down the opacity, say maybe to 40. That's a little too much. It's also looking really detailed. Now to take off that detail, and as you can see, the reflection looks like it's going up and down like this. We're going to go ahead and go to the right here where it's effects and presets. If you want to open that, you can just left click on effects and presets. Now we're going to left click there on the search bar, and we're going to look up roughen and edges. When you have roughen and edges, You bring that into your composite right there, or into your layer. Drop it into reflection 1. Now, as you can see, this is what happened with the effect. Now, we can either do these simple presets. I'm going to show you guys what these presets do. That's a spiky, rusty. There's very different presets that you can work on. But we're going to keep it on roughen. Now, it's doing that because our edge sharpenness was all the way up, so it was just pretty much sharpening the muzzle flash. We're going to bring that all the way down to 0, and our fractal influence, we can bring that down, or we can play with it just to see how it can look like. We're going to bring up the scale just a little bit. Actually, we're going to find where the best scale works. For me, it looks like it's working at 34. Now, stretch width or height. Width is going to be side. If we go back to negatives, that's going up and down now. We just got to see where it works best. You can left click on this and you can have the option to bring that here, and that's going to make all the rough and edges stretch, make it look like it's coming up right here. Or you can just left click and play around with it, see where it works best for you. I'm going to put the complexity up to 10, and that is working well for me right now. The border, you can play with the border a little bit so you can get that sort of not defined look. I'm going to put the scale up just a little bit more so that the stretch doesn't look like it's very defined, and that is looking really well right now and working really well as well. We're gonna go ahead and make sure you left click on reflection, Control D, and bring that up to here. Yeah, that's working well. Okay, so now we're gonna go here again. I'm trying to show you guys just a couple of shortcuts of how it would work. Quick and easy, say somebody needs it done really fast. This is a good way to composite a scene and make it look nice and quick. I'm gonna go back here again. I'm going to make sure it's on the right position, and then we're going to Control D again, bring that up here, go ahead and slide that over again. My After Effects is just a little buggy, but it's all good. Control D again. Same process going on here as the beginning. Finding the right position. Alright. Let's go ahead and fit this up again. And play this. By playing it again, you can either go to preview and press play. Your shortcut is also spacebar for the preview, or you can press 0 on your number pad. Let's go ahead and see how this looks now. Give it some time. It's just going to render a little bit. It shouldn't take more than a minute. This is our final look. Now this scene, honestly, I believe that it's a very simple and basic scene that you can work on. It's very minor details that will make your composite look better. At the beginning, when I started working on this scene, I did the muzzle flash and the flash also separately, but then I realized, I thought I was done, and then I realized that his gun is also coming out reflected right here on what looks like a closet or something. I completely missed it, and it's something that like anybody can miss. Like, you're so excited doing something right here that you miss that you actually need to work on this as well. But always be aware of your surroundings, and always be sure that you re-look at it and before actually giving it back to the director or giving it back to even the editor. So this is looking really well. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and show you guys how to render it. If you have Adobe and if you're following me, you can just go ahead and go to export. You can go to add to Adobe Media Encoder. Usually Adobe Media Encoder would be nice, or sometimes it won't be nice and it won't come out. But if you don't have Adobe Media Encoder, you can always go to File again, and you can go to Export, and you can go to Add to Render Queue. When you go to Add to Render Queue, it's all going to come out right here. Now you can use my settings, and you can go to Lossless, or you can go to any other option that you have right here. You can choose Best Settings to make sure where the output goes and where you know that it's going to go. You can just left click on where it says Not Yet Specified. Now this is going to come up right here, and this is going to pretty much show you where it's going. You can always just go to Documents, or you can go somewhere that you know for a fact that it's going to go. Go ahead and rename it. Save. You can start rendering from here. You can left click and render, and it'll start rendering, or you can queue it up on Adobe Media Encoder as well. That will go into Adobe Media Encoder, which is currently trying to open up right now, but it's not being nice. Either way, you can render here, and it's going to be the same outcome as Adobe Media Encoder. So once the film comes out, I'm more than happy to put up a link so that you can download this this little clip as well, so you can follow my video and do the same exact things that I'm doing as well. A good place to get stock videos and all of that is Action VFX. They have a YouTube channel, and with their tutorials on After Effects, they always put up their stock videos so that you can follow along as well. I always go to Action VFX YouTube videos and start following them so that I can better my craft. Action VFX is definitely a great site that you can go to for stock elements. They have free stock elements as well. I'll go ahead and leave a link on the description. What we have here is our first compositing scene. I'll go ahead and be making more compositing tutorial videos as well, so that we can practice with fire scenes, or smoke scenes of the city, or like fire in the city, or an explosion in the background, or an explosion in the front. All of that stuff. Go ahead and leave a comment on the comment section letting me know what else you want to see. What do you want me to composite? Maybe you have like a short clip of like a 5-second clip, or a small clip of something that you want me to composite. Go ahead and leave it on the comment section. Let me know how you think this video came out. Let me know what you think. I will be making more tutorial videos because honestly I just love compositing, and I love making scenes come to life and all that. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to sit down and watch my video. I'll be making way more After Effects tutorial videos on how to add fire, on how to add like gunshots, explosions, all that cool stuff. But yeah, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you also click on that post notification so that you know when I put up a video, or we say maybe I go live stream and then I'll go live on After Effects, show you guys some of the clips that I'm working on, and maybe even give you guys like a tutorial while I'm live streaming as well. I hope you guys are having a great day or a great night, and I'll see all of y'all in the next one. Peace.